Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspectives. My name is Gail, and today my guests are Ann Moelk and one of her friends, Bojangles, who they call Bo for short. Ann and Bojangles are from the Northern Chautauqua Canine Rescue, which is in Westfield, New York. Where in Westfield is it located, Ann?
We're located on North Gale Street in Westfield, and I'd like to thank you for inviting me here today to talk about Northern Chautauqua Canine Rescue and the dogs.
Well, you're welcome, and I want to thank you for coming on. You know, I really appreciate it. What is Northern Chautauqua Canine Rescue?
Northern Chautauqua Canine Rescue is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that rescues and shelters dogs. Last year, we saved 240 dogs.
How many of them did you find homes for?
All 240.
All 240.
Yes.
Wow. Well, you must be doing a really good job. Do you have cats also?
No, we only help dogs.
So all of the cats go to the Thrifty Kitty then?
Yes, Westfield Stray Cat Rescue.
Right. Okay, when was the Northern Chautauqua Canine Rescue started?
NCCR was started in 1999 by Jan Balsano and Brenda Luce. They were working with the dog control officer and saw that there was a need to find homes for dogs in the Westfield area.
Where do the dogs come from? Are most of them strays that were found, or there's other cases sometimes, right?
There's other cases, yes. Some dogs are strays from the Westfield area. We also sometimes get strays in from other parts of Chautauqua County. When a stray is not claimed after so many days, it's a legal process, then they become ours to try to find a home for.
Oh, okay. How many days is that then about?
I believe it's 3 or 4, maybe it's, I'm not sure about that.
A certain amount of days?
Yes, it's a certain amount of days. Sometimes people have a reason to want to turn over their dog. Something happens in their life and they're not able to keep the dog. Maybe they have to move and the new apartment doesn't allow dogs. We've got 2 dogs with us right now because their owner had to go into hospice. So sometimes it's really a sad story.
That would be Bear and Izzy, right?
Yes, Bear and Izzy.
They're hoping to adopt both of these dogs together because how old are they? 5?
They're 5 years old and they've been together since they were puppies. So they're a bonded pair. And they're big dogs, so hopefully we're able to find a home for them together.
Now, when you show the pictures of the various dogs, now do they know, have those 2 dogs lived with cats or anything?
We don't know. Lots of times we don't know the history of a dog. Sometimes our dogs, when we have space at the shelter, our dogs come into us from other states where they're in a kill shelter and their time is up. And so we try to take in some of those dogs whenever we have room. And then we don't know any history on them at all.
I just wondered because some people who have cats would like to adopt dogs. And I just sort of wondered, sometimes you maybe know?
Sometimes we know. If the dog is an owner turnover, they give us as much information as they can about the dog, and sometimes part of that information is, well, this dog lived with a cat.
Right.
So.
Right. I sometimes when I see the ads in the paper for pets and shelters that are up for adoption, sometimes they'll say no cats.
Yes.
It can't go to a home with cats or small children.
Well, sometimes we know a dog might be more excitable or have a higher prey drive, and then that's not a good situation with a cat or a small animal.
Right. Okay. Okay, so what happens next for the dog after they arrive at the shelter?
Well, we get to know the dog a little bit, and if they are either spayed or neutered, depending if they're male or female, and they receive all their vaccinations, they're wormed, we put a microchip in, and then they're ready to have their photograph taken. So we have a great volunteer who does photographs. We have beautiful photographs of our dogs, and then they go up on the website. So people can see the dog on the website, and we also work with Pet Finder, which is a search site that people go on who are looking for a dog.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any rules that you go by for when people adopt a dog? Because I know the cat shelter made us sign when we adopted 2 cats last year. They made us sign a contract where if the time came we were no longer able to keep them or something, we would be required to return them to the shelter. We couldn't give them to another relative or anything. Do you have rules like that also?
Yes, we have a similar contract probably to that. It's an adoption agreement, and people have to sign it. And some of the things are, if they decide they can't keep the dog, it has to come back to us.
Mm-hmm. There were some other things too, like we had, before signing the paper, we had to agree not to let the cats run wild and bother the neighbors or anything like that. There were quite a few rules. But then, so you don't always know if the dogs have been vaccinated or not, so as soon as they come to the shelter, you have to get all of that taken care of.
And sometimes the dogs come into us in kind of rough shape. They need to go to the veterinarian.
For medical care.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, when a family sees a dog they like on your website, what should they do next?
They should come into the shelter and meet the dog. We're open daily, Monday through Saturday, from 1 to 3, and they can stop in any one of those days and visit all the dogs and maybe spend some time with the one they saw on the website.
Oh, okay. And like the question that I had about the cats and small children, do you ever do like a home visit first if you don't know anything about the dog? To see how the dog acts around small children and cats before the adoption is finalized?
We do not usually do a home visit. Occasionally there's a dog that's a special case, and we will do a home visit. We encourage the family to bring in the children. If they have another dog, they can bring in their other dog.
But not their other family members?
No. To see how the dog, the new dog, interacts with the family members and the other dogs.
Because that would be kind of heartbreaking to adopt a dog and then have it not fit in with the whole family.
Well, and that happens occasionally, and the dog has to come back to us.
Oh, well, that would be a big disappointment for some people. So, how does the adoption work then?
Well, we have the prospective family fill out an adoption application, and they can do that online, or they can do a paper version of it. We ask for references, they answer various questions, and then we check all their references, and most people are approved for adoption.
Oh, good. So how much does the adoption cost?
The adoption costs $175, and the only difference would be if we have a puppy. And we use generally, if a puppy is adopted, say at 8 weeks old, when they're able to leave their mom, that's too young to be spayed or neutered.
Oh, I see.
So those dogs have to wait until they're old enough to be spayed or neutered. So we charge $250 for puppies.
Oh, wow.
After you get that puppy spayed or neutered, we give you a refund of $125.
Oh, I see.
Which is generally what you would probably spend thereabouts.
Now with the puppies, do you ever get like entire litters of puppies?
Yes, in fact, right now we have 13 puppies at the shelter.
Oh my gosh.
Which is pretty nuts. We have one mom who was transported in from Louisiana, and she got to the shelter about midnight Saturday night, and by Monday morning at 7 o'clock she was having her puppies.
Oh gosh.
So she was barely with us for 24 hours, and so we have 9 of her puppies. They will be 3 weeks old on Monday.
Oh, okay. Is she a specific breed or a mixture?
She's a mixture. She's a beautiful mom, but I have no idea what she is.
Oh, okay.
And her picture's not up yet because it's too soon for anybody to come in to see those puppies.
Oh, sure, sure.
She needs to have quiet time to take care of those puppies.
Do they look like they're going to be small dogs, or?
They look like they're going to be mid-sized dogs.
Mid-sized dogs?
She's sort of mid-size.
Okay. If somebody wants to volunteer at the canine rescue, what should they do?
We always have a need for volunteers. We have a great group of volunteers. There's a bunch of fun people to work with. And if you have some time and you'd like to spend some time with dogs, please come get to know us and volunteer with us. We have a volunteer application to fill out, and then somebody will get back to you and tell you when the next volunteer training is.
Oh, sounds like fun.
It is.
So we're hoping we've inspired some of you today to volunteer at the Northern Chautauqua Canine Rescue. Okay, what else would you like us to know about NCCR?
NCCR is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and that's a complicated way of saying that if you make a donation to us, you're going to be able to deduct it to the full extent of the law, whatever the law is.
Deduct it from your income tax return?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're a volunteer-run organization. We receive no government funding, so we're always out there asking for donations, having various fundraisers, trying to bring money in.
Yeah. What events do you have coming up this year?
Well, the next event we have coming up is the Putts for Mutts. It's an annual golf tournament. It's held in Westfield at Pinehurst Golf Course, and it's a lot of fun. Everybody has a good time.
And are you going to be at any other events this year that you know of offhand?
The next event after that is our Doggone Good Yard Sale.
You have that at the shelter?
Yes. This is the 5th year for it, and it gets bigger every year. Everybody loves the yard sale. There's always something for everybody.
Do you have the date for that picked out yet?
The dates are July 28th and 29th, and it is at the shelter on North Gale Street.
At the end of July?
Yeah.
Well, is that a Saturday and a Sunday?
It's a Friday and a
Friday and a Saturday.
Yes, and we start bringing things in July 1st.
Oh, okay, so people can donate items.
Yes, yes, they can drop things off.
Be sold.
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the things I'd been planning on asking you was actually about I was planning on asking Ann these questions, but we're going to have to consolidate it all into one answer. We probably should actually introduce Bo.
Come on up. Come on. There he is.
If you adopt him, you have to expect him to be a lap dog, I believe.
Yes, he likes your lap.
He really likes to sit on people's laps. He is full grown, so he won't get bigger than that, in case you're wondering about having a 100-pound dog climbing up into your lap. He's 3 or 4 years old, you said?
Yes, we have to estimate his age, but we're thinking around 3 or 4 years old.
He's extremely cute and cuddly.
He likes to play, but when it's time to lay down and rest, he could do that too. So he's not going to be obnoxious all the time. And all the people he's met here at the station, he's liked.
Oh, yeah, he sure has. The questions I'd been thinking of asking Anne were about toilet training puppies, and how to keep dogs from chewing up all your belongings, and how to train them not to jump on people and otherwise be aggressive towards other people and animals and things. And Anne informed me that she is not a trainer. She knows some basic stuff, but she's not a professional. So she couldn't really answer those questions, but she can tell you how you can get some help with training your dog.
We have a new program at the shelter. It's called HASDA, and those letters stand for Helping a Shelter Dog Adjust. And the HASDA program is run by Lisa DeFrancisco, and she's a dog trainer, and she is so talented. If you adopt a dog from us and you get it home and discover you're having a few little issues, because there can be some issues as a dog adjusts to a new family or new place to live, Lisa will come in and help you. And if you need help, if she needs to come more than once, she can come more than once. And for the first 30 days that the dog is with you, those services are free of charge. So it's a really nice way to get the dog adjusted into your home and into your family.
During those first 30 days, how often does she come to help you?
That varies with the dog, with the family, and with her time availability. Some dogs, she just needs to come in and meet with the family once or maybe twice. Some dogs need a little more help. Just depends on the situation.
Looks like somebody's getting a little bit sleepy there.
I think so.
Likes to be cuddled with while he
Yes.
falls asleep. And so anyways, so then they can still get more classes from her then for a fee, right?
It's not really a class. It's one-on-one, her working with the specific dog and the
Oh, I
specific
see.
family.
I
They don't
see.
have to go anywhere to a class.
I see.
But yeah, if they want something else, you know, more extensive training after that 30-day period, then yeah, they can pay for it.
Can they get that through the Canine Rescue then?
That would be, they would be in contact with Lisa. It would be through Lisa.
Oh, I see. She's an independent contractor then.
Sort of, yes. She's a volunteer first. The first 30 days, it's volunteer time, so she volunteers that.
Oh, okay.
That's her volunteer service.
Uh-huh.
Because we have so many volunteers, they do all different kinds of things. And because she's so talented in training dogs, that's her volunteer work.
Yep, somebody is almost asleep. Okay. Well, we have a lot of pictures that you have brought that will be coming up on the screen in a moment. Volunteering, a work of heart.
Yes, there are some of our volunteers.
Yes.
We had a lot of fun taking that picture. You can see some of the different dogs that have been with us there that are now adopted.
You have quite, if those people are all still with you, you've got quite a few people that help you, don't you?
I would say I see one of them there that's moved, and the rest are all still with us.
Oh, good.
And that's not everybody. There are more.
Good.
We have volunteers who walk dogs. We have volunteers who clean the building. We have volunteers who do paperwork. We have volunteers who mow the lawns. So whatever your talent is, we probably have a need for it.
Okay. Now, the two dogs we're looking at now at the bottom of the screen, Their names are Daisy and Chico.
Yes, and Daisy is the white dog, and Chico is the black dog. She is about 8 years old.
Daisy or Daisy?
Daisy, and Chico is about 10 years old.
Oh, that's why it says never too old to be loved.
Yes. They are a bonded pair. They've been together their whole lives. And they're Chihuahuas. They need to be adopted together. They're in a foster home because the shelter is a very noisy and upsetting place for them. So if you wanted to come in and see Daisy and Chico, you'd need to make an appointment.
Okay. So, so they are senior dogs.
Yes.
One is 8 and one is 10.
Yes.
Okay. So, if you want to give a couple of nice dogs a home, you won't have them as long as if you adopt a puppy, but you'd be doing a good thing for them. Their owner passed away or something, maybe?
You know, I believe so, yes.
Oh.
I don't remember exactly their story.
Yeah.
I think...
Okay, well, let's go on to some more of the pictures. At the top, it says Forever Friends, Dolly and Pixie.
Yes. And Dolly and Pixie are mother and daughter.
Oh.
Dolly is the mother, Pixie is the daughter. Dolly's an older dog, and Pixie's not young either.
So they were with a family for a long time then.
Yes. And the other day, one of our dog walkers took Pixie for a walk, left Dolly in the kennel, and poor Dolly was so upset, she cried and howled and carried on the entire time Pixie was gone.
So they have to be adopted together.
Yes. So that's how we know that they're a bonded pair.
Okay.
They just can't be apart from each other.
That's because they've been together for so many years.
Yes, and they depend on each other.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you have more than one pet who has lived together for many years, they do take it pretty hard when the other one passes away.
Yes.
So, okay, we didn't, let's see, oh, there we are again. Now, only the one in the middle of the picture is the one we're featuring here, is it? No.
Yes, because Lucy has been adopted.
Lucy has been adopted, the one over to the left. Okay.
Correct, yes.
And the other, this is Sammy, the one, what kind of a dog is Sammy, a beagle? No, you said a hound, right?
No, Sammy is bigger than that. Sammy is a treeing Walker Coonhound.
A Walker Coonhound.
And of course, we never know if they're purebred or not. But so she could be a mix with treeing Walker Coonhound. And she's got a special story, and I encourage you to go to the website and read about her because it's a sort of a long story.
Oh.
She needs to go into a home that has a fenced yard.
Okay.
And she needs to go into a home where there is another dog that she can get along with, because she needs a playmate. She needs the support of another dog.
Okay.
So she's one of our special cases, and we're looking for a special home for Sammy.
Okay. Do you know how old she is or anything?
She's not very old. She's maybe 3 years old.
3?
Something like that. She's an adult. She's full grown. She's a good-sized dog.
Okay. Okay, well,
here's
the lap dog that's on Ann's lap.
Bojangles, who's taking a nap right now. He loves hot dogs.
His color, he looks lighter in color in the picture than he does in person.
He's got beautiful red fur.
Yeah.
Hey, bud. Can you wake up?
You said that Bojangles is about
there you are.
3 or 4 years old.
He's 3 or 4. Yeah, there he is.
And there is Bear and Izzy.
Bear and Izzy are 5 years old. They're the dogs whose owner had to go into hospice. They're a bonded pair. we'd like them to be adopted together. They're such big dogs that we can't say it has to be. If we found a good home for one of them, we'd probably let it go. Honest.
But then they'd miss each other. And
Yeah.
it would take a while for them to get used to that idea.
It would, but if they went into a house that had a busy family, maybe some kids to play with, to occupy them so they don't miss the other one so much, that would probably be okay.
Somebody with a really big yard
Yes.
should adopt them.
They're big dogs. Bear is a purebred German Shepherd, and he's a big, big boy.
You said he's over 100 pounds?
I think so, yeah.
And what about Izzy? How big is she?
Izzy is a big dog, too. I don't know what she weighs. But I'd say it's probably close to 100 pounds also. We think she's got some Newfoundland in her, but something else as well. Maybe Lab. We're not sure.
Okay. And this would be
Spot.
Spot.
That is Spot, and oh my gosh, is he cute. He's a Chihuahua. He's the tiniest Chihuahua I have ever seen.
Oh, really?
He weighs 6 pounds. So you can see we have a dog, any size dog you want, we have. From 6 pounds to over 100 pounds.
Is he a young dog or?
Spot is 7 years old.
7?
He's male. It's a boy. He's in a foster home because, again, the shelter is pretty overwhelming sometimes for these small dogs.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So Spot is in a foster home. If you wanted to meet him, you'd have to make an appointment first so we can get him, so his foster mom can bring him into the shelter.
Okay.
Look at that cute face.
Yeah. And this is Picasso.
This is Picasso. He is one of our special dogs, one of my favorites at the shelter right now.
Oh, is he?
Picasso came to us in pretty bad shape, and he's not quite ready to be adopted yet, but hopefully he will soon.
Okay. How old would he be? Do you know?
He's an older dog. I'd say he's 7 or 8 years old,
7 or 8.
probably. He is sponsored by the Westfield Veterinary Hospital.
Oh, okay.
They have donated his care, and he has needed quite a bit of veterinary care. He came in with a bad skin issue. He had to have dental work done, and they've taken care of him, and we really appreciate their help.
Did he come to you with the name Picasso already?
Yes, he did. He came in with that name. We did not change his name.
Okay.
He's a beagle mix maybe. He's a mid-sized dog. He's not very big. I know he likes to ride in a car because I'm one of the people who has taken him to the vet. But he gets a little nervous in the vet, and he wasn't real happy to be there.
No, I can imagine.
But they love him there. He's one of their regulars now.
And you've got the sleeping baby there.
Look at him.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. There's a picture of Vanna.
That's Vanna. She is a miniature pinscher mix, and she's not a very big dog.
Would you say she's a medium-sized dog, maybe, or?
Yes, she's a medium-sized dog. She weighs 26 pounds, and she came in with another dog, Milo, whose picture I don't think I brought. He's a very small beagle, but they're a little grumbly with each other once in a while. So
it's okay to split them up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Vanna is 2 years old. She's a nice girl. She likes to play. She gets along with other dogs well. And
except for the one she came in with.
Well, she gets along with him, but she's kind of bossy.
Oh, I see.
She sort of tells him what to do. He doesn't always like that.
So he gets grumpy.
Yes.
Okay, we've got a dog named Lucky here.
Lucky. Lucky is still a puppy. Let's see, how old is Lucky? He's under a year.
Oh, he's less than a year old?
He's less than a year. I think he's about 8 months old. He's a Border Collie mix, so he's a mid-sized dog. And does he have energy? Oh my gosh, lots of puppy energy. He needs a home where the people are going to work with him a little bit. Maybe if you want a dog to train for agility, he would be a perfect dog for that.
Now, does he show any herding behavior?
I don't know the answer to that.
Oh.
Border Collies frequently do. I know Lisa is working with him. He tends to be a little rambunctious, and she's trying to work with him a little bit. He needs plenty of exercise.
Well, he's a nice-looking dog. I think that might be all of the pictures that you had, and there's...
There's our address, if anybody needs to write it down. Our website is www.caninerescue.org. All the information I've talked about today is on the website. If you have any questions, that's always a good spot to start. You can see the current dogs. We have more dogs at the shelter than we've shown pictures of. Sometimes the dogs get adopted rapidly.
Oh, there's some pictures of some more of them. What is that up at the top there?
Leroy?
Yeah, Leroy.
Leroy is interesting. He is a courtesy listing. Sometimes we work with other shelters to help get a dog adopted.
Oh, so he's not actually at the
He is not in Westfield. No. He is at a shelter called Because You Care, and it's in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Oh, I see. Is he a pit bull? Or?
Yes, he is. I don't know many other details about him, although it would tell on the website.
Let's see, the next one to the right there is Picasso, isn't it?
Yes, we've talked about him.
And that's Sammy.
And that's Sammy,
right?
yes, we talked about her. This is Bretta.
Bretta.
She was a puppy mill dog.
Oh.
She needed special care when she came in, and so she is in a foster home. Her foster mom says she's a great little dog.
Is she a Schnauzer?
Yes, she's a Schnauzer mix. She's learned how to play for the first time ever in her life.
And she's how old?
In her foster home.
You
I don't remember. Several years old, though, I think, maybe 4 or 5.
Not a young dog.
No.
And let's see.
We saw Vanna, we saw Bojangles, we saw Lucky.
Is that
Spot?
The one to the left of Bear and Izzy.
Oh, we haven't seen that one. That's Winchester.
Winchester.
Winchester is also a coonhound. He's a good-sized boy. He's young, maybe a year old. Again, the website would know that for sure. And he needs a home where he can run, nice big yard.
And what about those two?
So Milo, we have not talked about Milo. He came in with Vanna. Now, Milo is the smallest beagle I have ever seen.
Oh, really?
He's a tiny little guy. He's very sweet and loving.
He's got a cute face.
He does. So if you like beagles, Milo might be the dog for you.
I'm sure there are lots of people that like beagles. And then there's just one more.
Chloe.
Chloe.
Yes. And she is a Chihuahua. She is also in a foster home. She's a cute little girl. She's nervous. Loud noises scare her. But I talked to her foster mom this morning, and she's doing great.
Oh, good.
She's adjusted to the household, and she is potty trained.
Oh, good, good. Now, you were you were mentioning something about what happens when a dog gets brought in that's not potty trained. Would you be willing to tell our viewing audience what happens?
Well, if we have a not potty trained dog at the shelter and that dog goes potty, well then sometimes all the other dogs down the row, they can smell it, know what happened. They go too.
All of the ones that are potty trained will
Yes.
start doing it.
So sometimes if a dog's been at the shelter with us for a while, when he gets into a home, he needs a refresher course on potty
gosh.
training.
Yes. Okay. Let's have you tell some cute stories. You probably have some cute stories about fun, interesting things that dogs have done at the shelter. Animals have a tendency to do really interesting things, you know. I know I've got thousands of stories about the pets that I've had, some of the stuff they've done.
Well, let me think. I could tell a little bit of Sammy's story. She is the treeing walker coonhound, and she was on the run. She was a feral dog in the Casadega area. And she was hanging out at a home, excuse me. They knew she was running on the loose and contacted us to see if we could maybe catch her and bring her to the shelter. Well, Sammy was not spayed or neutered. So she met and visited with a dog whose name is Gus, and he was a Mastiff. And he'd gotten loose and was on the run from his house and went to visit Sammy. And they got together, and as he was leaving Sammy on the way back home to his house, he was hit by a car. And you may have read about him in the newspaper. He was left for dead in a ditch, and he barely survived. And he is alive. He's still doing well. He didn't come into us. He had a family to go to. Sammy, after many, many weeks of trying to catch her, to bring her into the shelter, finally she was able to be tricked into a crate. She got to the shelter. She was only there a few days. It was last October. The weather was starting to get cold. And we were all really thankful that Sammy was able to be brought to the shelter. She had her puppies. I don't remember exactly how many she had, maybe 10 or 12.
Oh, wow, a big litter.
It was a big litter, and they were big puppies because they were Mastiff and Coonhound puppies. And as soon as she had the puppies, I mean, she just wouldn't let anybody near her. She was feral. We had her in our isolation room, which has an outside yard, so she could go out and go potty, come right back in. And she's the one who took care of the puppies for the first about 8 weeks. She wouldn't let anybody else near them.
Well, I guess that was to be expected, wasn't it?
It was challenging. She's been a challenge, but we all love her. She's our favorite. And the puppies got to be 8 weeks old. They were all adopted, and they're in homes now, growing up to be big dogs. We get pictures every once in a while on Facebook, so we keep track.
Oh, that's nice.
Keep up with a few of them.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to find Sammy a home. She's gotten so she'll let people near her.
Okay.
I can walk into her kennel and put a leash on her and take her for a walk.
So that's why she would need a home with a fenced-in yard.
Yes. We're afraid because she spent so much time on her own that she could want to run away again.
I see.
So she needs a family who's aware of all her issues and, you know, is going to take good care of her.
Is there a discount for adopting multiple dogs?
Discounts are on a per-case basis. So sometimes if we have a bonded pair, you can talk to one of the people, one of the volunteers or our director, and they'll make exceptions sometimes on a case-by-case basis.
Like maybe Bear and Izzy, or...
Again, I don't know.
You can't promise that.
That's above my pay grade.
Okay. Okay. Is there any support a person can get if the adoption fee is too expensive for them? Do you ever do anything like that?
Not really.
Not really.
I know occasionally if it's an older dog and an older person, and a discount can be made, but again, it's on a case-by-case basis.
And you're not the one that makes those decisions?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Well, we know that you accept donations of money, and you probably accept donations of food then.
Yes, we do. We accept donations of canned food or puppy chow. We get quite a bit of our adult food donated by Purina, so we don't always need adult dry food. We always need puppy chow.
That's what you need the most.
Yes,
And-
and we have a wish list on the website
Okay.
of items we're always in need of. A few of them are paper towels, bleach, laundry detergent,
Okay.
and there's a more extensive list on the website.
People can probably donate things for bedding, right?
Yes, we have need of used sheets or towels, something that's not totally worn out yet.
Okay.
Still has a little use left in it.
Oh, sure. Okay. And sometimes people can offer their services as what they donate, right?
Yes.
You said that the Westfield Veterinary Hospital sponsors one of the dogs.
Yes.
And, but you, as a general rule, you have to pay for the veterinary services
Yes.
then?
Veterinary care is one of our biggest expenses.
I suppose it probably would be. Are there other services that people provide? Besides volunteering to come in and actually just walk the dogs?
We have a graphic artist that we work with. Her name's Kim Smith. She's not a local person, but that flyer for the Putts for Mutts golf tournament,
Oh, she
that was-
designed that.
that was somebody else who designed that
Oh,
one.
okay.
I'm sorry. She does other flyers for us. That one was designed by the Newmans. Christine Newman arranged that one.
Okay. Yeah, it's a cute picture.
Yeah.
How does a person become a foster parent?
Usually a foster parent is somebody who volunteers with us a little bit, gets to know us and the dogs, and we get to know them, and then they can apply. There's an application to fill out to be a foster parent.
Oh, okay. Does somebody come in and check the person's home and everything?
Well, if somebody volunteers with us for a while, we get to know them a little bit. We
Okay.
don't necessarily have to do that.
Oh, okay. Explain kill shelters versus NCCR.
Well, a kill shelter is a shelter usually in a city or near a city that takes in all the stray dogs from that city. And because there are so many stray dogs and they have only so many kennels, they can't keep them very long. And each case is different, but say they have so many strays that they can only keep a stray for 5 days
Oh,
or 10 days.
I see.
And at the end of that period of time, the dog is put down. You know, because they have so many, there are always new ones coming in. The old ones that have been there for a while that weren't adopted out need to be put down. Northern Chautauqua Canine Rescue is not a kill shelter. We never put down a dog for space reasons. Just isn't done. We don't do that. Occasionally, we'll get a dog in that will turn out to have a temperament problem.
Oh, yeah.
and if it's decided that that dog cannot live safely in a home with a family, then that dog might have to be put down.
I see.
But that's a very rare occurrence. Sometimes we have a dog that's a purebred that we realize might be better handled through another rescue. So we would find, for instance, we had a Doberman Pinscher that went to a Doberman Pinscher rescue.
Oh.
And we had a German Shepherd one time that went to a German Shepherd rescue because we felt those people were more knowledgeable about that breed and could find it the right home, whereas we didn't have all those skills.
Oh, I see. Did those two dogs have temperament problems then, would you say?
They were dogs that needed to go into a home where people were aware of issues that that breed has.
Oh, I see.
So yes. I mean, I don't remember specifics. It's been several years for both of those dogs. And again, this is something that doesn't happen often.
I haven't seen television in quite a while, in a couple of years, but I remember there used to be, oh, what was it called? It was Pit Bulls and Parolees was the name of it on the Animal Planet channel. Did you ever?
I've seen that
see
show,
that?
yes. Yes, that's...
Where they specialized in pit bulls.
Yeah.
So.
And there are breed-specific rescues out there.
Yeah. Do you think that pit bulls do have a tendency to be more aggressive, like they have a reputation for?
Pit bulls have a bad reputation. My personal opinion is that that reputation is unfounded. I think it is as often a bad owner as it is a bad dog. I think a bad dog can happen in any breed, almost any breed. Fortunately, we don't see many of those at our shelter.
Yeah, you're lucky. Now, I was describing the last dog that we had to you and telling you he was colored like a Rottweiler, but he had other features that seemed more like other dogs. And when I said the Rottweiler part of it, tell our viewing audience what you asked me.
I asked you if he was stubborn.
And I said, oh boy, was he ever, you know.
And I said, well, then maybe he did have some Rottweiler in him.
Yeah, she was saying that Rottweilers have a tendency to be really, really stubborn. And at the end of the dog's life, he still hadn't gotten past doing some things, behaviors that we would have rather he didn't do. So. So it sounds like he was part Rottweiler. So, but we don't know about the rest of him.
Well, people are beginning to be curious about what mix of breeds are in their dog. And so we have a kit at the shelter. It's a DNA kit.
Oh.
You can purchase one for $80. And inside is a swab. And you swab inside the cheek of the dog, and you package this swab up and mail it off, and a couple weeks later you get a description of all the breeds that are in your dog. It comes in the mail in an envelope, and you find out what your dog really is.
And you think these kits are accurate, do you?
I do. I think they've got that science figured out fairly well now.
Well, that is interesting. It would have been fun to find out for sure, but...
And some of our volunteers have used it to find out what their rescue dog is made up of. And frequently, it's a surprising thing.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
You know.
because a mixture of different kinds of dogs usually doesn't look a lot like what they supposedly... you know, anything in particular. Mixed breed dogs have a whole different look than the pure breed dogs do. So I suppose it probably would be really surprising.
Yeah.
Is there any of your volunteers that you might like to tell us about?
Oh gosh.
For a special reason or anything?
Well, we think all our volunteers are great. We've got a great bunch of people. One of the founders, Jan Balsano, she's still with the rescue since 1999. She is the photographer. She takes the wonderful pictures that are on the website. And we've got a few other volunteers who have been with us since the beginning in 1999.
Well, that's special all by itself, just being at a shelter that many years. Have you been there since the beginning?
No, I have not. I'm considered a newbie. I've been there for 7 years.
Oh, 7 years.
Yes, I just had my 7th anniversary in February.
Oh, okay. And you apparently like working there then.
I do. On Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm at the shelter working with the dogs, and I love that. That's hands-on care.
You're there all day then?
All day. And the rest of the time, I plan events. And in fact, I start planning the yard sale when the old one ends. So I've been planning that since last July.
So anyway, now people know where they can take their yard sale stuff. If they don't want to have a yard sale of their own, they can bring things over and donate them to you.
Yes, and we get to sell them and make money for the dogs.
Yes.
So we have a lot of fun. It takes us a whole week to set up. We have a large building, our learning center. We fill that up, and then we rent 2 tents. We fill up both tents.
Wow.
And we usually have a little bit of things that spill over outside, like outside furniture and things that can stay outside.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And we're really busy for 2 days.
So people donate furniture?
Oh, anything you can imagine gets donated to the yard sale.
Well, I'll have to stop by and check that out.
Please do.
Okay. So you don't foster any of the animals yourself then?
No, I'm not able to be a foster mom because I have 2 dogs that I've had for a long, long time, and they wouldn't get along well with a new dog.
Any suggestions on okay. Are there other okay, any suggestions on looking for specific breeds of dogs?
Well, if somebody was looking for a specific breed of dog, they could go on the internet and Google, say they were interested in Dalmatians. Google rescue Dalmatians, and there would be a website coming up.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing a lot about Dalmatians. They use them for racing or something, and they used to put them down.
Those are greyhounds, I think.
Greyhounds, yeah.
Yeah.
And what about dogs that you would find in pet stores? Are they all from puppy mills? You don't really know.
I don't really know the answer to that. I know that the puppy mill situation in our country is horrendous, and lots of the dogs that end up in a pet store do come from a puppy mill. There are organizations out there now trying to get legislation passed to end puppy mills. It's a big problem.
There was one man that I met one time. It was over at the Chautauqua Institution. He was walking with a collie, an adult collie. And I remember stopping to talk with him about his dog. And he said that the owner, the previous owner, had used the dog as a show dog, but they'd had the dog's vocal cords cut so that it wouldn't bark at the shows. And then I thought that was pretty cruel. I wonder if, do you know anything about that, if they do that with a lot of dogs? I would hope not.
I have heard that that's done occasionally. I don't really know anything about it. I've never seen it. I have, like you, been walking somewhere and met a dog out who was making a noise, but it wasn't really a bark. And I said to the person walking it, "My gosh, does your dog have a sore throat? It's not barking." And she said, "He can't bark, his vocal cords have been cut." So,
yeah, that's awfully...
Sounds like a gruesome thing to me.
It makes you think, doesn't it? Now, there are other shelters in the county. You probably know which ones they are. There's the Chautauqua County one down on Strunk Road in Jamestown. And then there's one in Dunkirk. What was that one called again?
That's called Lakeshore Humane Society.
Yeah, I think those humane societies have dogs and cats both, and
they do
other kinds of animals too.
I know they can have other kinds of animals on Strunk Road.
Yeah, that's a different kind of certification then?
That's Chautauqua County. That's the county rescue, county shelter.
And let's see, it's Lakeshore Humane Society that's in Dunkirk, is what they call that one, yeah. And
they also have cats there.
Yeah, and other animals maybe?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, we're down to about half a minute left. If there's anything you wanted to say real quick?
I just want to say thank you for having me. Please come visit the shelter.
Yes, and
whether you're looking for a dog or not, you can come visit the shelter.
And I hope all of the dogs that you showed us pictures of today will find forever homes of their own. And I wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome.
For being on today, and we've come to the end of another episode of Fresh Perspectives.